It would be a sad error in judgment to mistake me for a corpse. Hello and welcome to Escape from Mount Backlog, one man's quest to defeat his game's library. Strategy Month continues this week with Grey Goo. Grey Goo was developed by Petroglyph Studios and released in 2015. It's deliberately styled after the 90s RTSs, or as I like to call it, along with most of the internet, the golden age of RTS. Yes, the 90s birthed and by the end basically perfected the RTS, and one studio leading the charge was Westwood Studios. Westwood. Creators of some of my favorite RTSs, from Dune 2 to Red Alert 2, I played all of them. They basically, as I said, perfected the RTS. And before you jump into the comments with, actually Blizzard, here's something from Patrick Wilson, ex-Blizzard executive. We were inspired to create Warcraft after playing, and replaying, a game called Dune 2 by Westwood Studios. Dune 2 was arguably the first modern real-time strategy game, with the scrolling world map, real-time unit construction and movement, and individual unit combat. It isn't that much different in design than a modern RTS like StarCraft 2, excepting perhaps a certain scale and graphics quality. I'll put a link to the cited Kotaku article penned by Wilson himself. It's a fascinating read. Anyway, so Westwood were the golden boys of the RTS. Things were going great. Enter Electronic Arts. Yes, EA. They bought Westwood in 1998 and shuttered them in 2003, making the last Westwood-developed RTS Emperor Battle for Dune. And of course, the Yuri's Revenge expansion for Red Alert 2. That was okay, I guess. But why open this video with a history lesson about Westwood? Well, some of the staff, when Westwood was shuttered, moved on and opened Petroglyph Studios. Fast forward just over a decade and Petroglyph give us Grey Goo, a deliberately CNC-like fast-paced RTS. And I gotta tell you, it scratched an itch I forgot I even had. Have I mentioned lately that I used to play almost exclusively RTSs through most of the 90s? Anyway, so Grey Goo then, a fast-paced 90s style RTS. Perfect. Oh, it's got problems to be sure. The campaign lolls a bit in the middle and the difficulty curve is a bit wonky, but I was having fun. The campaign is a singular experience, which progresses through all three factions over 15 missions. 5 missions apiece. The factions are namely the Beta, an alien race with a set of normal and a set of vestigial T-Rex arms, and South African accents.
Something attacked their subsurface operations, bringing everything crashing to a halt on the surface.
The humans, who are, spoiler alert, humans, and the Goo, which is grey. Hence the name. All three factions in the grand tradition have completely different playstyles attached to them, creating a rock-paper-scissors dynamic. The Beta get turtle-like champions. Basically, they can turn any wall piece into a turret by garrisoning a ground unit. The humans can push out drone units at an alarming rate, making it easier to rush enemies, and they have great artillery. And the Goo don't build a traditional base. They're completely mobile and can be a headache to eliminate. Well, a headache for the AI when I play them. So I played through the campaign and a couple of skirmishes just to get the feel, and yeah, it's good. There are some features or quality of life improvements that make it very accessible, namely the construction shortcuts, all grouped together on the QWERTY keys. And yes, the patterns are quite simple. Q for buildings, W for light units, etc. Those open the second level and repeat the hotkeys. Basically then, to quickly produce basic infantry, the shortcut is WQ, or you can click on the manufacturing structure and just hit Q. It does take a little getting used to, but because of this unified system, you can successfully use it playing any of the three factions. Another quality of life improvement I noticed, and used liberally, was the ability to put a building in a control group, making it very quick to just double tap and get back to your base, especially when you've got aircraft flying around and you need to get them back home. The gameplay, as you've noticed, unless you prefer to minimize the window and just listen to my dulcet tones, is exactly what you'd expect from a 90s RTS. You gather resources, you build units, crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. Damn, I'm like 8 paragraphs in and I haven't touched the story. In short, it's a standard sci-fi plot. The beta are working towards leaving their planet because they sense an enemy approaching from beyond the stars. Boom, humans arrive. They think the humans are the prophesied threat, but they're not. The goo also crashes on the planet and the beta and humans make an uneasy alliance to fight the goo because now they believe the goo is this hidden threat, but the goo was actually created by the humans, so the humans are kind of responsible, but then the goo aren't the true enemy. No, the true enemy, as revealed at the literal end of the campaign in a clear case of sequel baiting, is the Shroud. So basically, it's StarCraft, but with less deep lore. Got it? Good. The story is really secondary to the gameplay challenges it facilitates during the campaign anyway, which is a bit of a shame because the cutscenes are exceptionally beautiful. I mean, seriously, here, just take a look at...
Goo masses have taken refuge in that structure, which is where the beta's largest supply of catalyst is kept.
Good. Now all we have to do is blow the catalyst in the structure to vaporize what's left of the goo.
Destroying the beta's catalyst.
Amazing. But that's not even the best part. The soundtrack was composed by the man, the legend, Frank Klepacki, the man who gave us the most recognizable theme song in all of RTS, the Hell March. This shouldn't get striked, so here's a little bit of it just to refresh your memory. Anyway, what's impressive to me about Grey Goo is he successfully created 3 different scores, one for each faction, and each have their own feel to them. The beta have a very synth-heavy soundtrack. The humans are a lot more techno. And the goo, for reasons I can't explain, have the tinges of dubstep. So the TLDR then, if you miss CNC, if you long for a 90s style RTS, but don't feel like replaying StarCraft or Red Alert for the umpteenth time, and you've lost your disc for Emperor Battle for Dune, give Grey Goo a shot. You probably won't regret it. I know I didn't. And that'll just about wrap up this episode of Escape from Mount Backlog. Have you played Grey Goo? Is it stuck in your backlog? Did you pick it up in a Humble Bundle or something? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always guys, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends. Sharing is caring. Yes, that's the thing. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm getting close to 100 subscribers, so get your friends along. Let's help get me there. And tune in next week when Strategy Month continues with something grander.